In the days of old, when the gods still roamed the earth, there was a lion god named Naraka, a mighty celestial being who embodied strength, courage, and the spirit of the wild. Naraka was not like the other gods, who distanced themselves from mortals after the Great Flood. He loved humanity, often walking among them in the guise of a lion, marveling at their resilience, their flaws, and their unrelenting will to survive. One day, Naraka observed the suffering of the Israelites under the yoke of the Philistines. He saw their tears, heard their cries. The Creator had sworn not to interfere with humanity after the flood, yet Naraka could not stand idly by. He ascended to the heavens and stood before the throne of the Creator, his golden mane shining in the light of eternity. "Lord," Naraka began, bowing low, "I see the plight of your chosen people. They are crushed under the weight of oppression, their spirit dimmed. Let me lend them my strength. Let me walk among them and protect them." The Creator looked at Naraka, his voice as still as the depths of the ocean.
"Naraka, the days of meddling are over. Humanity must chart its own course. My covenant remains. No god shall live among men."
"Then let me give them a fragment of myself," Naraka pleaded. "Let me infuse my essence into one who can carry the strength of the lion, not for glory but for justice. I ask not for a kingdom or worship, only the chance to restore hope." The Creator hesitated but saw the fire of Naraka's compassion. With a wave of his hand, he relented.
"One vessel only. Choose wisely. But remember, the power you grant will carry a burden no mortal should bear. Their life will be one of great trial."
You are watching the Tales of the Savannah. Subscribe and be part of the tribe. Now let's get back to the story. Then one day an angel appeared to a woman. "You are childless, but you are going to become pregnant and give birth to a son. Now see to it that you drink no wine or other fermented drink, and that you do not eat anything unclean. You will bear a son whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is dedicated to God from the womb. He will take the lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines." And so Samson grew in both stature and strength. Samson's feats of power, tearing apart a lion with his bare hands, defeating an army with the jawbone of a donkey, were evidence of the lion god's essence within him. Naraka's strength flowed through Samson, but so too did the lion's wildness, its untamed instincts. This made Samson vulnerable to temptation and wild in his decisions, as seen in his downfall. What few knew was that Samson and Delilah had a son, a secret child hidden from the world. The boy was raised in obscurity, his lineage erased from records, his blood carrying the power of the lion god. The knowledge of the lion people, the snake people, the tales of the wolf people we call werewolves, or the fish people we call mermaids, was an open secret among those who listened closely to the whispers of the old world. These beings lived tucked away in places humanity rarely ventured, the depths of the forest, the blackness of the ocean's depths, or even among us, passing unnoticed in the chaos of everyday life. Those who knew of them spoke in hushed tones. "Sometimes," the elders would say, "you can feel their presence, that aura, that heaviness in the air. They are not like us. Yet, you couldn't quite place it. They looked human, moved like humans, but their eyes held something ancient. Their gestures betrayed something primal." Paka was such a being. Born into the lineage of the lion people, Paka carried the power of his kind, stretching back to Samson, the first vessel of the lion god. The lion people were not a myth. They were real, their society existing both among humans and in hidden enclaves deep in the wild. My dear tribe members, there is one thing about the God of the universe you must understand. He loves a good, compelling argument, one that is reasonable and aligns with his interests. For some gods, the rules were to be followed strictly, but for others the rules were bent slightly to accommodate a plea, or perhaps an outright disobedience. "Your ways are not my ways," he would say. Such are the ways of the gods. For centuries, the lion people lived by a strict creed handed down by Naraka himself. The lion god demanded exclusivity, forbidding his people from mingling too freely with humankind. Their power was a double-edged sword, intended for protection, not dominance. Naraka had bowed to the Creator's warning.
Your people may live among men, but they must remain hidden. They must not show their true form, nor may they dominate mankind. If they defy this, I will end their existence.
However, sometimes the Creator would call upon the lion god in times of need, borrowing their strength for wars to tilt the balance in favor of his people. Many wars were fought this way, with scrolls documenting the wars overtaken by the lion people lost to time. And so, the lion people continued to live in secrecy. They hunted, thrived, and passed down their traditions, teaching each generation to guard their secret. They were a proud people, ruled by chiefs, chosen not by bloodline but by the will of Naraka himself. Among every generation there is always one who refuses to bow to tradition, who seeks something greater, something beyond the confines of their kind. That one was Paka. Even as a boy, Paka had been defiant. While others worshipped Naraka and obeyed the strict rules of their community, Paka questioned everything. Why should we hide? Why should we not take what was rightfully ours? Are we not the chosen of Naraka, more powerful than any human, faster than any predator? Why then do we bow to gods and hide from men? Why do we not rule? By the time Paka reached adulthood, his ambitions had grown beyond idle talk. So he ventured alone from his people, seeking something he never quite found. His father, Shumba, the chief of the lion people and father to Paka, shed a tear watching him leave. But Paka was truly meant for the wild, untamable, not even by his own kind. "May Naraka be with you, my son," he whispered to the wind. However, this time Paka had found a place to start, Jabali's village. Standing on a hill overlooking the village, Paka's mind raced with plans. He would take Jabali's place as both chief and husband. Akina would ensure a smooth transition for him. The people loved her, so they would love him too. It was time for the lion people to step out of the shadows, to take their rightful place as rulers, not just of Jabali's village, but of all humanity. But the gods are not blind. As Paka plotted his rise to power, Naraka watched from the celestial plains. He had warned his chosen before. Defiance would bring extinction. And now, for the first time in centuries, one of his own was threatening to break that sacred pact. Appearing to Paka in a vision, Naraka's voice thundered through the young lion man's mind. "Paka, son of the pride, hear me. Your ambition blinds you. Your arrogance dooms you. Have you forgotten the covenant? The Creator's warning? If you rise above men, you will bring ruin not only to yourself, but to all who share your blood. Stand down or face my wrath." Paka awoke drenched in sweat, his body trembling from the power of the vision. For a moment he felt fear, but it was quickly swallowed by defiance. "Why should I fear you, Naraka? You gave us this power, and now you would demand we waste it in hiding. I will not bow. I will not stop. If you want to stop me, then come down from the heavens and do it yourself." Naraka trembled with anger. Paka had gone too far this time. He reminded him so much of Samson, reckless and ambitious. There was another rule that governed his people: do not harm the humans. And for the first time in centuries, an innocent human was about to be harmed. Nyala was quickly taken into a room where she saw a girl lying on a bed. "What is this, Mwamba?" she asked as they got closer to the little girl. "This is Kitapo," Mwamba said. "She is the princess of the water. She has been out of the water for too long, and now I need your help to revive her. I have tried everything that I can. All my medicines are not working. I need your magic. Together, I think we can revive her," he explained. Nyala looked at Kitapo, who was struggling to breathe. Her color had changed, and if they didn't act fast, it was certain she would be lost. They quickly started to chant. Lulenga came into the room and saw that Mwamba and Nyala were busy. He knew that Kitapo, his daughter, was in safe hands. He wanted to go see Akina. She had fallen in the market square and had possibly hit her head. He needed to know and make sure that she was okay. He took the transformation elixir and gulped it down. My God, it is still the awful taste I remember from the very first time I took it. Why did Mwamba never bother to make the taste any better? Well, he knew Mwamba. Mwamba loved to punish in subtle ways. I wonder if this is the same stuff he gives to my daughter, or if this is just reserved specially for me, he scoffed. Before long he was out of the water on his way to Akina. He knew she was married to the chief, Jabali. He had to be careful. He couldn't just come up to the house and say, "I want to see Akina." Jabali would ask who he was, and he did not want to explain. As he hid in the bushes, he saw Jabali coming out of the house. Jabali was with a young girl. Lulenga thought he recognized her from the market, but he never really knew who she was. Was this Akina's daughter? He thought, a smile creeping onto his face. Jabali said sternly to the girl, "Chipo, look after your mother. I am going into the forest with Zuberi and Kosana. If someone comes looking for me, tell them I'll be back soon." "Okay," she said. As Lulenga was still spying on this moment between father and daughter, his eyes observed something else, movement from the opposite side of him. He looked closer and could see a man in the bushes also looking at Chipo and Jabali. The man had long hair, and his face looked disgusted by the sight before him. The aura around him was dark, and it felt like he was a threat to the family. Why was he here? Did he have a vendetta against Jabali? All those questions rolled through his mind, but he knew that this man was not here for any good. As Jabali left and Chipo was alone, Lulenga wondered, should I go up to Chipo, or where is the man? He asked himself, thoughts running through his mind. The man had disappeared into the forest. Maybe this was his chance to go forth. He went up and knocked on the door. Chipo came out. "Hi, Chipo. You do not know me, but—" "I do," Chipo said, a bit surprised. "You are the man at the market, the one who took Kitapo." The first time she had seen him was at the market, and she hoped or maybe thought she would never see him again. But here he was, at her doorstep. "How can I help you?" she asked. "Your mother fell. I am here to see if she is okay." Chipo thought for a second. She had wrestled with the memories of that day over and over again, and here was a man who possibly had answers. "Where did you take my friend?" she found herself asking. "I am not here to discuss that. I am sorry. This was a mistake. Tell your mother that—" "No, tell her nothing. Sorry to disturb your peace." He then ran away from the homestead, not knowing how to explain who he was and why he was there. Inside the hut, Akina heard the voice she thought she would never hear again. Her head still throbbed. She wanted to wake up, to go and confront the man she had been looking for all those years, but her body would not allow her. She was exhausted and also arrested by fear. And just like that, he was gone again. Gone with the wind. Jabali, Zuberi and Kosana walked through the forest. Jabali was out of it, his mind back at home, worrying and hoping that Akina would be fine. Zuberi noticed his friend's distraction and tried to comfort him. "I have looked at the injury on Akina. She will be fine. Do not worry yourself, my friend." Kosana too was lost in his thoughts, wondering about his daughter. As they ventured deeper into the forest, none of them realized they were being followed from afar. Paka smiled from a distance. He didn't have to attack these men in the village. Out here in the forest was the perfect opportunity. It was a chance he neither anticipated nor could refuse, and he was grateful for it. As they neared the place where Jabali usually summoned the guardian, Paka's mind fixated on revenge. The group stopped, and Jabali chanted a few words. A whirlwind came, and with it appeared the guardian of the forest. There she stood. Paka was surprised. This was not the guardian he knew. But he quickly reminded himself that the spirit of the guardian was passed from one person to another. Therefore, it didn't matter who the vessel was, she was still the same guardian who had bound him. How would he do it? Would he attack the guardian first, or would he go for Jabali? The guardian looked at the three men before her and spoke. "I have spoken to the goblins. They will have an audience with you. But I must warn you, the outcome might not be what you hoped for. The goblins are tricky creatures, and we must be wise." Kosana nodded, and the two other men silently acknowledged the gravity of her words. From the corner of her eye, the guardian noticed Paka hiding behind a tree. She had sensed his energy as soon as he entered the forest. She knew he was here for Jabali. While he was not a danger to the others, she understood that her priority was to protect Jabali. Without warning, another whirlwind arose, engulfing the three men and whisking them away in an instant. Paka stood there in shock. He had been ready to attack, but now he would have to wait. This was going to be more difficult than he thought. Before long, the three men were transported into the middle of the city of the goblins. The city was unlike anything the three men had ever seen. The streets were paved with dark, shimmering stones that pulsed faintly, as though alive. The air smelled of damp earth and decay. The guardian adjusted her cloak. "Stay close," she whispered to the others, her tone calm but commanding. The men behind her nodded, their eyes darting nervously around the alien landscape. Suddenly, a horn blared in the distance, its deep, loud note shaking the ground beneath their feet. It was the announcement of foreigners in the land of the goblins. The drama had just begun. And that, my dear tribe members, is the end of yet another episode in our Mermaid, Witches and Lion Man series. Many of you have been asking to see the lion god featured in our stories, and I'm thrilled to deliver. Alongside that, the much-requested tale of the Lion Man is here, and I couldn't be more excited to share it with you. And if you're here for the very first time, hello, and welcome to the tribe. To catch up on this story, be sure to watch Season 1 of Mermaids, Lion Man and Witches. It's the perfect place to dive into the magic and join us on this incredible journey. My dear tribe members, drop your thoughts in the comments section. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. And as always, thank you for watching our story, and we hope you enjoyed it. What lessons did you draw from this story? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the tribe. Thank you for watching The Tales of the Savannah. We will see you next time in the Savannah.